Hi Taurus, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your October 2020 tarot reading, and thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. As far as personal readings go, I'm still taking a break from those. Not sure when I'm going to start those back up again yet, but if I do make an update to that, it'll be in the community section of the channel. As far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always, and I also pulled a couple of oracle cards for you guys and a Mudra card, so we'll get started with the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the Nine of Swords. So this card usually points to an energy of losing a lot of sleep, possibly having even some nightmares or just really vivid dreams. It might get stuck in your head. Now, first thing that comes to my mind seeing this energy pop up for you guys, especially in the main position, is the fact that you guys have Mars in your 12th house right now. And it's also going retrograde. It started its retrograde recently, so it's going to be retrograde through all of October as well. So it could just be partially that, where you guys could just have a lot of vivid dreams, and like I said, really just wrapped up in your mind about a certain situation, possibly something that's been bugging you for a long time. Possibly, I would say 9 weeks would be the minimum, possibly even 9 months, maybe 9 years for some of you, but just something that seems like it's just been stuck in your head. You haven't quite been able to figure out where a situation might have went wrong, for example. And I do have to say, another area where this could be pointing to as well is you're going to have that full moon in Aries early on in October as well, and that's also in your 12th house, and that's going to be conjunct Chiron. So you might start to feel the energy shift early in the month for some of you when that full moon happens. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords usually represents truth coming through, sudden realizations, and I feel like this is saying that, especially with that Nine of Swords there, it looks like that's that one missing piece for you guys, right? Like, you might have a lot of the situation figured out, but there's that one piece that's missing that you can't quite figure it out to put the whole puzzle together. So I feel like that's really what's bugging you more than anything, too. You might feel like, okay, I could see all these things, but there's that one little piece of information that's been eluding you. So I do have to say, I think it's going to come forward for you guys this month. It might be in an intense, abrupt way, but I feel like once you actually get through that, you'll actually like the way things shift forward from there. The reason why I say that information might come to you guys in an abrupt way, just beyond the astrology aspects we already discussed, is because in the foundation position you guys have the Tower. So to me, this represents, if we look at that crown symbolism there, and then we also see it here with the sword. So some of you might just be going through an awakening process. So for some of you, these could be ascension symptoms, and you might not even know exactly what you're going through just yet. Most of you, though, I feel like you'd probably have some idea, because if you are watching tarot readings, you're probably aware of those types of things too. But maybe this is even like another level that you guys are ascending to currently. But I do have to say that whatever this energy is, it does feel like it would be a bit abrupt, given that we do see the Tower in the foundation position. Like I said, definitely watch out for that full moon early on in Aries. That might be a time where you might really have that energy triggered for you guys, and possibly even at the very end of the month when we have the full moon in your sign. But for a lot of you, I feel like this is going to hit earlier than that. So definitely watch out for that Aries full moon. And for some of you, if this is a Tower moment that you guys have already gone through, and that's what you're looking back on, you're trying to put the pieces together behind why this Tower took place. Same situation. I feel like you guys might get some insight around that Aries full moon. Given that it's conjunct Chiron, it could involve some healing of old wounds that you guys might have had for a long time. So that's the positive with this. I have mentioned to a couple other signs too. Keep in mind, if this is going to play out in a more physical way, let's say if you're in one of those evacuation areas where those fires are going on the west coast of the U.S., or possibly even if like you get a hurricane warning, if you're in the southeast, for example, definitely try to trust those evacuation orders if you do get them. Hopefully that's not the case for you guys, but just saying, seeing this in a foundation, I would say that would definitely be another warning to take it seriously if you get one of those orders. And I always say to people too, when the Tower card does come up, to just carry a protection stone around with you. Usually, I recommend black tourmaline, but you can get uh, all other types, if I can speak. So look into that too if you want. In the past position, we have the Queen of Wands. So Aries energy here. Now, what this tells me for a lot of you too could just be saying that you might have had a lot more confidence around the situation in the past too. So it could have been one of those things where, like I said, I feel like for a lot of you, this involves that Mars transit. And given that this represents Aries energy, this is another indicator that that seems to be the case. So taking all of this in combination, I would say that this might even be a situation that you might have thought you had figured out for a while. And now all of a sudden maybe some new information's coming to light. Like trying to wrap your head around that. Like, okay, I thought I had this all figured out, right? I thought I had all the information, and now you have something new coming about that's really throwing you for a bit of a loop. So that could be what that's pointing to there. For some of you, can be dealing with an Aries as well. Do have to mention that. In the present position, we have the Ten of Swords. Normally, not a good card to see, right? I mean, we also have the Tower and the Foundation, the Nine of Swords, some heavy energy there. But the one positive I would say with this card popping up here is going back to what I was saying with these two cards. You're at the Nine of Swords here. This Ace of Swords is what's eluding you, given that it's in the challenge position. So, given that we see this in the present, I feel like this is saying that pretty early on in October, maybe even for some of you by the time you watch this when I first posted, so even before we officially get into October, I feel like that piece of information will come through for you guys. So that's probably the one positive there, as well as the fact that it seems like this is going to happen pretty early on for a lot of you. But yeah, that's why I see this primarily pointing to, where whatever piece of information's been eluding you that you've just been stuck in your head on for a long time, just replaying it over and over, trying to figure out what's that missing piece. Looks like that might come through for you guys rather early on in the month. In the near future position, we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Nine of Pentacles. So much sunnier, brighter cards, right, than what we see in the middle section there. So at the very least, this is another thing that makes me feel like this is something that, like I said, for a lot of you, it's probably going to be a bit of a sharp pain initially, maybe for a couple of days or so, but I don't think it's going to be like a long-term thing. I feel like it's going to be one of those things that something finally clicks for you guys. And interestingly enough, I had a similar vibe when I was doing Scorpio's reading too, which is your opposite sign. So definitely the energies at play there just seem to be bringing these types of sudden insights for you guys. But yeah. This year represents Jupiter energy, and Jupiter did just start going direct recently too, so that could be another indicator of what's going on there. And then with the Nine of Pentacles here, this is actually technically Virgo energy, but to me this just represents confidence, security, right? Some level of financial success as well. For you guys, Virgo is your 5th house too, so this could just be saying that creativity, even around romance, you could just be feeling lucky. So I feel like things will be turning around for you guys in a positive way, definitely. And like I said, with that in the near future, it looks like it'll be pretty early on in the month of October for you guys. All right, in the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Three of Wands, the Chariot, the Page of Pentacles, and the Eight of Pentacles. So more Virgo energy here. This is Aries energy again, too. I have to point that out. That's Cancer energy. And then this doesn't necessarily represent any particular Earth sign, but you guys are an Earth sign, so this could definitely point to your energy as well. So, I mean, really what I see this pointing to for most of you is going to be the Three of Wands kind of being an extension of that Nine of Swords, where you haven't felt comfortable moving forward just yet because there's been that one thing that's just been digging into your mind where like, okay, what am I missing here? There's something I'm missing, I'm not quite sure what it is, right? So, like I said, I feel like that's going to click for you guys pretty early on in the month. And once that does click for you, it looks like there's going to be some forward movement for you guys. The chariot card usually represents just victory to some extent, definitely forward movement, expansion, and for you guys that represents Cancer energy, which is your third house communication too. So whatever this is that you've been stuck in your head about, you actually might come forward and communicate what your findings were. Whatever was stuck in your head that you couldn't quite figure out, once you figure it out, you might feel more comfortable moving forward and communicating about it. The Page of Pentacles could just be saying that for some of you, this could be around finances as well, but maybe this was something that you felt was just out of your reach, because I always find it interesting that it looks like that pentacle is just out of his reach, right? It's not fully in his hands. So I feel like whatever it was that was blocking you, you guys get that information that just clicks for you, and then you actually are able to get back to work and start building. So that's what I'm seeing there primarily. Can be around romantic relationships for some of you, given that we've seen Virgo energy a couple times now, which is your fifth house. But it could also point to work as well, obviously, with all the pentacle energy we see there. In the environment position, we have the Sun and the Five of Pentacles. So I see this playing out a couple different ways. One way that comes to mind with this, because I mean, this is a huge contrast of energy here, right? One way I could see this playing out could just be saying that, an extension of what we were talking about there, where the information just clicks for you guys and you're able to come out of this type of energy, because we see that dark energy there that you guys have been experiencing. So I feel like this is saying you can get out of that energy. For some of you, if this was around a romantic relationship too, that might have been it, right? Where it could just be saying that maybe, you kind of lost something in the connection where you're like, okay, I can't figure out where we went wrong. And possibly even what clicks for you guys is maybe to be a bit more light and playful with the connection, right? And that could actually revive it if you guys have been going through a bit of a rough stretch. That's certainly a possibility there. And for others of you, if this is a situation where, for example, let's say it was a breakup, just a random example, and you guys are really taking it hard, and it seemed like the other person was perfectly fine. You're like, I don't get it. How am I going through hell here? And this person seems like they're completely unfazed. If that's the case, seeing the Sun here with that Five of Pentacles underneath could just be saying that, even though they might seem on the surface like they're totally fine and everything's okay, underneath it all, they definitely are hurting as well. So, not that that's necessarily anything to be celebrated, but I will say that if you're getting that vibe from someone, if it was a breakup where you feel like, okay, why am I like in all this pain, and it looks like they're totally unfazed, I don't necessarily feel like that's the case. It could just be saying that they've been going through a rough stretch as well. They've just been hiding it better. And finally, the last thing I would say is, when your luck does turn around, which I do feel like it definitely will, could just be saying, try not to go too overboard with it, right? Which we could do sometimes after you go through a long stretch where things might not have been going your way and things finally turn around. You might just have that burst where you almost go overboard. So it could just be warning against that. You could burn yourselves out, possibly even get physically sick, just from overdoing it. So just keep an eye out for that. But overall, this is definitely a positive for the majority of you. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Ten of Wands. So yeah, I feel like this is around a situation that you've put a lot of work into, and I feel like with this coming up in this position, it could just be saying that you might have a fear that all of that work might have been for nothing, So maybe you invested a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of years, whatever the case may be, into a situation, and you're starting to doubt if you actually get any, repayment for that. So that's the case. Looks like things definitely will turn around. And like I always point out to people, whether this is a great card or a bit more of a rough card in this position, it doesn't necessarily point to the energy actually playing out. It's more just something that's on your mind. So that's what I see there. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Wands. So this can represent competition. So maybe you guys are in a competitive work environment, and there's been some stress around that. For example, maybe you've been trying to get a raise or some kind or a promotion. This can represent maybe you've had a conflict with a family member, possibly, because Leo energy for you guys is your fourth house. Maybe even, a romantic partner that you might have been living with, for example, and then maybe they might have even left temporarily. So that's what that could be pointing to there. But it looks like that could be all tied into what you're experiencing here. And like I said, it looks like for the majority of you, there will be a rather fast turnaround for that. For a small percentage of you, it might take until that full moon in your sign at the end of the month. But I really feel like that full moon early on in Aries is what's going to get the ball rolling for you guys. All right, and then in the outcome position, we have the Six of Wands. So this represents victory. And also, given that we did see that Five of Wands at the bottom of the deck, this would represent some positive progression for that energy too, if you think of it that way, right? Obviously, after the Five comes the Six. So even if there is some kind of a conflict in your environment, it looks like you will come out feeling victorious, even if it does mean that you do mend the situation with one person, if it was just like a one-to-one type of conflict. But either way, it looks like things will turn out in your favor. You'll be happy with the outcome at the very least. Looks like you'll be getting some recognition. So, like I said, I really feel like that's really what's going on here, where there's something that's really just stuck in your mind that you can't quite figure out just yet. Eventually, that light bulb is going to go off for you guys. It's going to click. It's going to finally get you out of that energy of rethinking things, just feeling stuck, replaying a cycle over and over. We see that Wheel of Fortune. We see that Three of Wands down to the Chariot energy, which represents movement. So I see a lot of movement for you guys. Maybe some of you actually, given that we do see the fourth house energy there, maybe some of you might be physically moving, maybe moving to a new place. So that's certainly a possibility as well. But whatever the situation does look like, it's going to be positive for you guys. There's going to be a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio in October as well, which is your opposite sign. So this can, for some of you, definitely be around some kind of a romantic relationship where maybe you're seeing things from a different perspective now, and that could help you get things back on track. But yeah, hopefully that all resonated with you. Now we'll move on to the Oracle cards. First we have Happy Happy. I mean, another great indicator there. There's the artwork, and the number is 26. We'll see what it has to say. Okay, it says joy and contentment, a sense of fulfillment, a feeling that all is well. The Oracle's message, your desires are effortlessly fulfilled now. Find joy in the present moment, whatever is happening, and be satisfied with things as they are. You're free from the shackles of longing and able to experience the liberation that comes from actually being happy moment to moment, for you have chosen happiness over yearning for it. Now is the time for feeling joy for the sake of joy and experiencing contentment. None of this is because of something outside yourself. Your happiness is a result of your being at one with Spirit's plan for your life. All is well. The tide is in for now. Enjoy playfully splashing in it. Yeah, like I said, for a lot of you, quite frankly, I don't necessarily feel like you're going to be in this energy right when you first watch this reading, possibly, but like I said, it does. I mean, like, just look at this middle section here. It does look pretty intense, right? But given what we see there, that forward movement, one of the best cards you could have after these types of energies, and then we see the positive movement with the Chariot underneath that Three of Wands too, and the Six of Wands in the outcome. So even if you're not feeling in this energy right at the beginning of the month, it seems like it will come forward for you guys pretty soon. So definitely a good thing there. The relationship message says there are moments in a relationship when you just feel good about whom you're with, and you know that your heart is wide open to befriend, to love, and to care for another without wanting anything in return. This is the kind of happy that you just want to share. The appearance of this card in the reading tells you that joy and contentment are here now, not somewhere else or off in the future. The grass is greenest right where you stand. Be grateful and delight in your relationship, and if you're seeking one, be happy now. Happiness attracts more of itself, like bees to honey. Interesting message there too, where it said, if you're seeking a relationship, be happy now, and it'll attract more of itself your way. So that could even be saying that for some of you, if this is the energy you're in with that Five of Pentacles, that could just be saying that, all right, well, just try to be more light and playful, right? Maybe easier said than done. And then it could just be saying that might draw more things your way in that regard. So hopefully that resonated too. And then the prosperity message says, this is a time to take pride in your accomplishments. You're doing good work, providing exceptional service, and are well compensated for it. The world rains gratitude upon you, and you're happy with the results of your efforts and creativity. Isn't it amazing to consider all that you have done? Remember your partnership with Spirit in this moment too. Your soul has always known you could accomplish anything if it brought you joy. So, definitely a pretty positive message there as well. And then with it saying, you could accomplish anything if it brought you joy. Maybe for some of you that's what it is too, where maybe you do find or figure out what you would like to do that would bring you that happiness, and then the financial success might follow with that. So hopefully that resonates for you too. And next we have from the Spirit Animal Oracle, we have Eagle Spirit. It says Spirit has your back. There's the artwork, and the number is 23. So let's see what this says. Okay, it says, think of the eagle flying high above the other birds, soaring on the wind. Eagle Spirit has appeared to ask whether you're willing to soar to new heights, even if that means solitude for a short while. Truly, all the wisdom of the world is available to you. When storms flash across the sky, it is Eagle Spirit that raises you above it all, helping you conquer fear and overcome adversity, reminding you that Spirit has your back and wants you to experience life at its fullest. At this moment, you are meant to know that you have the highest of wisdom and courage within, gifted to you by Spirit and all the angels. Boldly build your nest in a lofty space, and know that now you can fly effortlessly, proudly embodying Eagle Spirit in all her glory and grace, claiming what is truly yours in divine timing. So interesting there as far as it said, you are meant to know that you have the highest of wisdom and courage within. That made me think back to why I was saying that for some of you might be going through a bit of some ascension symptoms. So like I said, even if you have been on that path already, which most likely you are if you are watching tarot readings, it could just be saying that you might even go on to that next level. And that could be what's throwing you guys out of whack too. So along with that, that could bring some success your way. So hopefully that resonated as well. And then finally, we have a Mudra card. So the Mudra you guys got for this month is the Svadhisthana Chakra Mudra. There it is there. And the keyword for it is adaptability. Alright, a lot of info on this card, so I don't think we'll be able to fit it all in the frame at once. So hold it up here for a second if you guys want to pause it or take a screenshot. And then I'll move it up so we could see the rest of what it says. But yeah, under benefits, it says increases ability to adapt to change, opens creativity and the ability to spontaneously respond to any situation, increases capacity for intimacy with self, others, and the environment, benefits the reproductive system, increases fertility, and tonifies the blood. So if that sounds like something you think would be beneficial for you guys, we'll put the name of the Mudra in the description video as always. We'll wrap up there and I'll see you guys next month. Alright, bye.